Hi, Sweet Pea. How are you doing?
I'm okay, and
Thanks for calling.
I love your show, and I think you should continue.
Oh, I'm going to continue the show. I have not made a determination yet as to whether or not. I have decided that I'm not going to do it every single Thursday. It just takes away too much from me. I want to do it the last Thursday of every month and only the last Thursday of every month. However, I have been asked, would you at least entertain the thought of doing it every other Thursday? And by the time we finish tonight's show, I will be able to announce to you whether or not I'm going to do it every other Thursday or only the last Thursday of the month.
Well, I hope we get at least that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is very thoughtful.
I don't know if this is a question, but you were saying something about more than a couple of shows back about the Canaanites and the Moabites and how there was tribes and there were tribes of Albions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was after the show. I was thinking. I was like, Noble Drew Ali stated it a lot that we ancient Canaanites and Moabites, but when I was thinking really deep, I'm like, since our people, in the 1920s, couldn't read or write, because let me give you an example. He uses the name Jesus Christ, and I know for sure Noble Drew Ali been out there in the East, and he knows for a fact that's not, the name of Yeshua. You following me?
I'm following you.
Yeah, and I think he was just not just, but I think purposely, he named places and named names so people could identify who and where he was talking about.
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to say here?
I understand what you're trying to say, but I'm trying to determine whether or not you're just making a clarification comment or if you're attempting to get a question, if that's your way of wording the question.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to see what do you think about what I was thinking? Am I thinking the right way? Because Noble Drew Ali said a lot of things that confuses a lot of people today, but he did tell people to study, and when you finish doing that, study some more. So when he mentioned the land of Canaan and talk about the Moabites, I figured that he had to know the name of the original people that was there before, the Albion showed up there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, and I really hate to touch on people's leaders, prophets, and things of this effect, but when it comes to Noble Drew Ali, I don't think that he was necessarily misspeaking, but I do think that there's a strong possibility and even probability that some of the information that's floating out around there that people are saying that he said or did may or may not be what he said or did. It could be some of the misinformation that was deliberately funneled into the so-called freedom movement that he had set up, which is known as the Moorish Science Temple, and I had determined that he had set it up that way because, again, you had to do it under the freedom of religion. And a lot of people, honestly, he did something very correct, which a lot of people seem to miss. And one of the things that I've noticed that he did, based on what I've observed, is he set up a corporation soul. And whatever type he set up, it seems to me that the Vatican set one up after he did, similar, and the British Crown set one up similar, and then they crashed the system. They crashed the money, to keep people from getting a clue about what it was he did. But I think that people, when it comes to being a Moabite, the best I'll acknowledge as far as being a Moabite is that Mo means mother and Ab means father. Other than that, I can't follow the train of thought because I'm not a part of some incested out crew. And if I am, that's something I don't know about, really wouldn't want to know about it. You know what I mean? I don't think he could have been that far wrong about something. So I'm going to submit that probably the agents that look like us, that went in there deliberately, that were paid, just like a lot of people to this day that look like us are paid to destroy anything that we try to do. And for money, people will do a whole lot of things because it gives them a certain amount of money, power, and status. And if nothing else, it'll make them king of the niggas. I think certain people went through and funneled in information that may or may not be what he actually said. You know, I would want to know who was walking with him besides Elijah Muhammad, who didn't come out really putting out what this brother was talking about. He came out with the whole so-called black Muslims instead of telling people that they were American. And then Father Divine and Daddy Grace and a lot of these cats that were walking with him went out and became very, very wealthy. But it didn't look to me like they were pushing the same agenda that he was. And I'm not saying that they were agents. I'm just saying, you know, how are you going to follow somebody and then when you leave them, you're not speaking even remotely what they were talking about at all. But you use that information to rule over and lord over others and become very wealthy in the process. I don't know. You know, again, who was walking with him at the time? And even if you encounter someone that was walking with him at the time, how honorable or honest, for lack of better words, and I hate the word honorable because it's not that great of a word, but for all intents and purposes, how truthful were these people? Can you even trust what they're telling you? Or how do we know they weren't the agents that were sent in to infiltrate? So I don't know. I mean, Jesus didn't even exist. There's no such individual. No such person ever walked. I submit to you, no such person ever walked this planet anywhere in the world. So I don't know who the Jews or the Romans that were prompted by the so-called Jews were supposed to kill when no such person ever existed. There was no letter J in any of the ancient languages. J is new, and the letter J still doesn't exist in those languages of the areas that we're talking about. So Jesus who? So I don't know if they're talking about Iesu, Yahshua, Yahoshua, Yeshua, Isa. I mean, you know, I don't know who they're talking about. The sun in the sky, the sun, with sun, S-O-N, S-U-N. I don't know what they're talking about. I just know what I found based on the words that I looked up, and none of it's adding up to me. I see game going, and I see people getting played, and that's what I see. I'm not saying that he was wrong. I'm saying I don't know how much of the information was actually what he said, is what I'm saying.
Caller, you there?
He's there.
I guess they hung up. I'm going to mute their mic.
All right. Next question. Next caller.
678, you're online.
Peace and love to you, Yaffa Bay. This is your C-Star new friend in Atlanta. How are you ladies this evening?
Marvelous, C-Star. Thank you. How are you today?
Wonderful. I just got off the air, and there you were. I got my little message, you know, my reminder that you were on. I'm just thankful that I was able to catch up to you. I have two particular questions for you. First, I want to let you know that you are one of the brightest stars I have touched in a very long time. I have done all of the back work that you guided us to do, and as an elder, it was an honor because when I touched this light, because I understand about the encryptions in our voices, when we are enlightened, we literally can feel when someone's taking us off into their own agenda. And there was only one point where I actually had to sit with Spirit and counsel regarding something that you said, and we're speaking about over 15 hours of your talks. So I salute you because it is all very, very powerful and very enriching. Thank you for the work you have done and made available to us through YouTube. Now, my question to you is this. As a person who knows herself as a Pleiadian, who understands that everything you've taught about people of color, what we're up against, what our history has been, is absolutely 100% accurate when one is conscious of themselves at the galactic level, considering that we have contracts here on the planet. You, as you are right now, do you have interactions through your Ankh Esters that mandate that an acceptance of working with people that are not of color?
I am not the one to trip on skin color, and I'm going to tell you why.
Thank you. That's why I asked. Thank you.
There are people that look like us that are not on our side. And there are
right.
people that look like what you call the enemy that are on your side.
And
it's not so much about being on your side. They're on the side of what they know to be right because they've done the work. And there are some people that have left here melanin rich and reincarnated in paler skin to get the damn job done.
That's
because they had to come in on the other side in order to do the work. So there are some people that look like so-called white people, but they're like, I'm not feeling this so-called white thing. Something about this is more in tune with what I'm feeling. I'm feeling the soul man or the brother man and the sisters. I'm more in tune with that. And some people, when they encounter those kind of so-called white people, they get insulted by them. What are you trying to act black? Are you trying to act black? It's not that people are trying to act black. People are being them, whatever acting so-called black is. They're just being themselves, moving in attunement with what resonates for them.
That's right.
And there are some people that look like white folks, so-called white folks, that are so-called blacker than what you call black, so-called black folks. So with me, you really have to come to me on a individual. I kind of read the energy of the being for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's real hard to go by. This is a male. This is a female. This person's black. This person's white. This person is on welfare. This person's not. This person has a house. This person is homeless. You really can't go on that. You can't go by that.
Well, I agree. And the reason that Spirit had me ask you was because I've been guided that there are going to be plenty of folks that are literally, just like it says in Scripture, the wealth of the righteous are laid up in the hands of the wicked. And if you do not interpret wicked as deeply as it could be interpreted, what it can mean is that there are people that have amassed fortunes because they're supposed to support our work on the planet. You understand? And their color, say it again?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
A
lot of
their color.
Those people that are supposed to do that have gotten misaligned and misdirected, and their resonances are all screwed up. And they're instead of supporting the planet, they're just helping to destroy it. But that may not be where you were going. My bad. Absolve me for cutting you off.
No, I was speaking particularly, we all have contracts, we have agreements, we still have free will, we've got all kind of possibilities in the mix there, but there are literally just like we sit down in contract with our parents and we pick our birth dates, blah, 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 as wise beings before we go into non-remembrance and jump into these earth suits and come down here, there are souls that have contracts with us to support what I'm here to do at the big level, what you're here to do, and it's not the human being that has the contract. The human being has to get ignited and excited, you understand, and be lured into your light before they begin to understand that money has a purpose that has nothing to do with just leaving it to their grandkids.
Exactly.
So I know that there are people that I'm going to be directing to your work, so that's why the universe had me ask you this question, because I can already hear them, but I know now to tell them this is a sister dedicated to helping sisters and brothers that are asleep, but she's not into color, which is this is the way I speak. So now that I know I can do that because you have revealed to me that is where our heads are in the same place regarding that. And one last question for you. I'm supposed to be headed toward Corpus Christi, Texas, and so far I haven't been able to make any connections there that are viable to any degree. Do you, and you don't have to speak it on the air if it's not feasible, but do you have any directives or suggestions? Because I work with the forces, and so far, and it could just be because it's not time, I haven't made any viable connections there, but that's where my Mecca-type facility is supposed to be brick and mortared, and the connections haven't been made yet, and I refuse to believe that they're going to